Sorry, you all have the same maybe yeah. Yeah, you want it on 5 minutes and then that's great. What is it? Last year. Wait, going for it now? Bro, what? Yeah. Actually, all over the place. That's the best part. Yeah, it is what it is. Yeah. On the roof, you know, on the roof. Right. Nah, yo, bro, education. You got to that's yo, what are you talking about? Get out of here. I don't even know who that is. Yeah, soccer's always like
Hello. Hello. No.
And then they have to do
Count it.
I think we should start.
صلوات على محمد وعلى محمد. Assalamu alaikum everyone. So we're going to start the program now. First of all, we have a Quran recitation, and let's welcome Brother Ali Abbas with a loud salawat.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والفجر وليال العشر والشفع والوتر والليل إذا يسر هل في ذلك قسم الذي هجر ألم تر كيف فعل ربك بآد إرم ذات العماد التي لم يخلق مثلها في البلاد وثمود الذين جابوا الصخر بالواد وفرعون ذي الأوتاد الذين طغوا في البلاد فأكثروا فيها الفساد فصب عليهم ربك سوط عذاب إن ربك لبالمرصاد فأما الإنسان إذا ما ابتلاه ربه فأكرمه ونعمه فيقول ربي أكرمن وأما إذا ما ابتلاه فقدر عليه رزقه فيقول ربي أهانن كلا بل لا تكرمون اليتيم ولا تحاضون على طعام المسكين وتأكلون التراث أكلا لما وتحبون المال حبا جما كلا إذا دكت العرض دكا دكا وجاء ربك والملك صفا صفا وجيء يومئذ بجهنم يومئذ يتذكر الإنسان وأنى له الذكرى يقول يا ليتني قدمت لحياتي فيومئذ لا يعذب عذابه أحد ولا يوثق وثاقه أحد يا أيتها النفس المطمئنة ارجعي إلى ربك راجة مرزية فادخلي في عبادي وادخلي جنتي سواء.
Okay, now we'll have Hadith Kisra, and this will be said by Brother Abbas. Let's welcome him with another salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala ali Muhammad.
سواء.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. عن فاطمة الزهراء عليه السلام بنت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله أنها قالت دخل علي أبي رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله في بعض الأيام فقال السلام عليك يا فاطمة فقلت وعليك السلام قال إني أجد في بدني ضعفا فقلت له أعيذك بالله يا أبتاه من الضعف فقال يا فاطمة ائتيني بالكساء اليماني فغديني به فأتيته بالكساء اليماني فغديته به وسرت أنظر إليه وإذا وجهه يتلألأ كأنه البدر في ليلة تمامه وكماله. فما كانت إلا ساعة وإذا بي واليد الحسن قد أقبل وقال السلام عليك يا أمه فقلت عليك السلام يا قرة عيني وثمرة فؤادي فقال يا أمه إني أشم عندك رائحة طيبة كأنها رائحة جد رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله فقلت نعم إن جدك تحت الكساء فأقبل الحسن نحو الكساء وقال السلام عليك يا جده يا رسول الله أتأذنني أن أدخل معك تحت الكساء فقال وعليك السلام يا ولدي ويا صاحب حوضي قد أذنت لك فدخل معه تحت الكساء. اللهم صل على محمد. فما كانت إلا ساعة وإذا بي واليد الحسين قد أقبل فقال السلام عليك يا أمه فقلت وعليك السلام يا ولدي ويا قرة عيني وثمرة فؤادي فقال لي يا أمه إني أشم عندك رائحة طيبة كأنها رائحة جد رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله فقلت نعم إن جدك وأخاك تحت الكساء فدنا الحسين نحو الكساء وقال السلام عليك يا جدة والسلام عليك يا من اختاره الله أتأذنني أن أكون معكما تحت الكساء فقال وعليك السلام يا ولدي ويا شافع أمتي قد أذنت لك فدخل معهما تحت الكساء فأقبل عند ذلك أبو الحسن علي بن أبي طالب وقال السلام عليك يا بنت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله فقلت وعليك السلام يا أبا الحسن ويا أمير المؤمنين فقال يا فاطمة إني أشم عندك رائحة طيبة كأنها رائحة أخي وابن عمي رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله فقلت نعم ها هو مع ولديك تحت الكساء فأقبل علي نحو الكساء وقال السلام عليك يا رسول الله أتأذنني أن أكون معكم تحت الكساء فقال الله عليك السلام يا أخي ووصي وخليفتي وصاحب اللواء قد أذنت لك. فدخل علي تحت الكساء ما سلم ثم أتيت نحو الكساء وقلت السلام عليك يا أبتاه يا رسول الله أتأذنني أن أكون معكم تحت الكساء؟ قال وعليك السلام يا بنتي ويا بضعتي قد أذنت لك. فدخلت تحت الكساء فلما اكتملنا جميعا تحت الكساء أخذ بي رسول الله بطرفي الكساء وأومى بيدي اليمنى إلى السماء وقال اللهم إن هؤلاء أهل بيتي وخاصتي وحامتي لحمهم لحمي ودمهم دمي يؤلمني ما يؤلمهم ويحزنني ما يحزنهم. أنا حارب لمن حاربهم وسلم لمن سالمهم وعدو لمن عاداهم ومحب لمن أحبهم. إنهم مني وأنا منهم. فاجعل صلواتك وبركاتك ورحمتك وغفرانك ورضوانك علي وعليهم وأذهب عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا. قال الله عز وجل يا ملائكتي ويا سكان السماوات إني ما خلقت سماء مبنية ولا أرضا مدحية ولا قمرا منيرة ولا شمسا مضيئة ولا فلكا يدور ولا بحر يجري ولا فلكا يسري إلا في محبة هؤلاء الخمسة الذين هم تحت الكساء. فقال أمين جبرائيل يا ربي ومن تحت الكساء؟ وقال عز وجل هم أهل بيت النبوة ومعدن الرسالة هم فاطمة وأبوها وبعلها وبنوها. فقال جبرائيل يا ربي أتأذنني أن أهبط إلى الأرض ليكون معهم سادسا؟ فقال الله نعم قد أذنت لك. هبت الأمين جبرائيل وقال السلام عليك يا رسول الله. الألي الأعلى يقرق السلام ويخصك بالتحية والإكرام ويقول لك وعزتي وجلالي إني ما خلقت سماء مبنية ولا أرضا مدحية ولا قمرا منيرة ولا شمسا مضيئة ولا فلكا يدور ولا بحر يجري ولا فلك يسري إلا لأجلكم ومحبتكم وقد أذن لي أن أدخل معكم فهل تأذنني يا رسول الله؟ فقال رسول الله وعليك السلام يا أمين وحي الله فإنه نعم قد أذنت لك. فدخل جبرائيل معنا تحت الكساء فقال لأبي إن الله قد أوحى إليكم يقول إنما يريد الله ليذهب عنكم الرجس أهل البيت ويطهركم تطهيرا. فقال علي لأبي يا رسول الله أخبرني ما لجلوسنا هذا تحت الكساء من الفضل عند الله. فقال النبي صلى الله عليه وآله والذي بعثني بالحق نبي واصطفاني بالرسالة النجية ما ذكر خبرنا هذا في محفل من محافل أهل الأرض وفيه جمع من شيعتنا ومحبينا إلا ونزلت عليهم الرحمة وحفت بهم الملائكة واستغفرتهم إلى أن يتفرقوا. فقال علي عليه السلام إذا والله فزنا وفاز شيعتنا ورب الكعبة. فقال أبي رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله يعني هو الذي بعثني بالحق نبيا واصطفاني بالرسالة النجية ما ذكر خبرنا هذا في محفل من محافل أهل الأرض وفيه جمع من شيعتنا ومحبينا وفيهم محموم إلا وفرج الله همه ولا مغموم إلا وكشف الله غمه ولا طالب حاجة إلا وقضى الله حاجته. فقال علي عليه السلام إذا والله فزنا وسعدنا وكذلك شيعتنا فازوا وسعدوا في الدنيا والآخرة ورب الكعبة.
Next we have a salam by Ziyada. Okay. Well, then we'll move on to the next song. So we find Allah.
बारे दीगर नारे सलवात ज़ियाए खून शहीदा की दिलकशी ज़ियाए खून शहीदा की दिलकशी ज़ैना किया जो राह में बरताओ कल मगोयों ने किया जो राह में बरताओ कल मगोयों ने अरे कि जैसे थी ना नवासी रसूल की ज़ैना अली के लाले कलाशा तड़प उठा उस दम अली के लाले कलाशा तड़प उठा उस दम तुम्हारे बाजू में जिस दम रसन बंधी से किसी ने मारा जो पत्थर तो चुप रही लेकिन रे कहा जो बागी किसी ने तो रो पड़ी ज़ैना लहू में डूबी हुई बेड़ियां मुहारी की सफर में थाम के दिल देखती रही ज़ैना हुसैन जो रे थे ज़ख्मों से फिर भी उठ बैठे हुसैन जो रे थे ज़ख्मों से फिर भी उठ बैठे कहा जो शिमरे ने
से आ गई कहा ये रो के अली ने भलक के आओगी कहा ये रो के अली ने पलक के आओगी बगौर देख लोगों पे कि हर गली से और मख्ता है कि हिजाब में जहाँ से गुजरना मुश्किल था हिजाब में भी जहाँ से गुजरना मुश्किल था अरे वहाँ से कैसे खुले सर गुजर चुकी वहाँ से कैसे खुले गुजर चुकी आए हो ने शहीदा की दिलकशी ज़ैना पर मोहम्मद वाले मोहम्मद सल्लल्लाहु
Is Zayden here? Has he arrived or no? No? Okay. So here we'll have our second salam by Muhammad. Let's welcome him. Is he here? We'll welcome him with another loud salawat.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
صلوات
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
जब रिदा सर से छिनी मैं सदा देती रही तू ना आया सी आले इमरान ने कहा और जिंदान ने कहा ले बहन खैद तू ना आया सी हमको पानी ना मिले तेरी खुशबू तो रहे तेरे बाजू न कटे चाहे मशकी जाच दे ये मगर हो न सका तेरे बाजू है जुदा
मुझ पे है तशना नबी तू ना आया गाज़ी धूप में तू ताशजर तुझसे आबाद था घर है बरहना मेरा सर क्या नहीं तुझको खबर है अलमदार वफा इस बहन को खुदा तुझसे नाराज़ थी बड़ी तू ना आया गाज़ी आ गई शाम अलम लुट गए अहले हरम रेत पर जलती हुई हो गया ठंडा लम फुर्सत देने के लिए मुझसे मिलने के लिए आ गए बाबा जी तू ना आया गाज़ी क्या कहूँ शेर मेरे बेरदा हमको लिए ये मुसलमान सारे शहर दर शहर गए फिलखते कूफा कभी फिलखते शाम कभी बारहा हम पे हंसी तू ना आया गाज़ी कितनी बेबस थी बहन है शहनशाह वफा नाम ले ले के तेरा जब ये जालिम ने कहा नाज था जिस पे तुझे अब बुलाओ ना उसे बस मैं दो और मैं रोती रही तू ना आया गाज़ी कैद खाने में क़ज़ा जब सकीना को मिली देखे कुर्ते का कफन बच्ची दफनाई गई उस घड़ी नाम तेरा सूरत नादे अली बस मैं दोहराती रही तू ना आया मैं सदा देती रही तू ना आया गाज़ी सलवात
So now we're coming to the speech, and we'll welcome Brother Fader with another round of salawat. صل على محمد وآل
नहीं मुझे मैंने कहा कोई बीच में मसला नहीं اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا ومولانا أبي القاسم محمد وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المظلومين الغر الميامين ولعنة الدائمة الباقية على أعدائهم أجمعين من الآن إلى يوم الدين. أما بعد فقد قال الإمام زين العابدين إن للعباس عليه السلام عند الله تبارك وتعالى منزلة يغبطه جميع الشهداء يوم القيامة. صلوات على محمد وآل محمد. صلى على محمد وآل محمد. First of all, I would welcome you all with Islamic greetings. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It has always been my privilege to speak, especially on 8th of Muharram here. And I always feel blessed to be a servant of Hadhrat Abul Fadl Abbas alayhi salatu wassalam. And I also welcome you all, obviously, in this Majlis that is specifically on the topic of Abul Fadl Abbas alayhi salatu wassalam. Recently, last year, I remember I was talking on the topic of what we can learn from the personality of Abul Fadl Abbas alayhi salatu wassalam. And we talk about the topic of knowledge, that how knowledge was connected to Abul Fadl Abbas, because generally we have this misconception that only Abul Fadl Abbas was brave and was really good warrior, but when it came to knowledge, we don't have much understanding of the personality of Abul Fadl Abbas, right? But this time I realized that we already talked about it. This time I would just like to give you a brief history, a brief personality of who he was. And inshallah, if we can learn some more stuff from the personality of Abu Fadl Abbas, we can apply on our lives. And also another reason that we go through the biography of Abu Fadl Abbas is also that it shall not only be limited to us. We have, mashallah, we talk about Karbala, and we discuss about Karbala, and we discuss about the sacrifices that the people have given on the plains of Karbala. But how many people outside the Shia Muslims, they actually know about what happened on the day of Ashura? What happened on that day? Why there are so many millions of people that are going every year to this barren land, to Iraq? Imagine if there is no shrine or haram in Iraq, be it in Kadman, be it in Samarra, be it in Najaf, be it in Karbala, would we actually plan our vacations and go to Iraq? Personally, I wouldn't, right? But since there are some blessed personalities which are buried there, there are some blessed shrines that are there. We all go into those barren lands, right? And we pay our respect and our salams to our imams when we go there. But how many people, actually, I was discussing with one of my colleagues, and we were having a discussion, and I came up with this topic. You know where? We were having a discussion where actually there are maximum people that are coming every year, and he had this impression that within Muslims, it's actually on the day of Hajj that we had the maximum Muslims going to a common place. I said no. if you search it more, it's basically Karbala. On the day of Arba'in, if you go to Karbala, there are millions of people that are there from different nationalities. And we have people not only coming from Iraq, from Pakistan, from India, we have people coming from Indonesia. We have people coming from South America. We have people coming from Africa. We have people coming from Europe, from North America, from different places of this world. So it was a huge shock for him. And then we discussed what actually happened in Karbala. Likewise, when we are going through the biography of some of the companions of Imam Hussein alayhi salatu wasalam, what should be our understanding? It should not only be limited to us. Our first understanding should be to know who they were so that we can apply what they have done in their lives and apply in our lives. That's basically one way when you look at it. The other way when you look at it is also when you want to convey the message to the people. What is so special about Karbala? If someone asks you, okay, you celebrate it or not celebrate it, you commemorate every year and you go and you cry on Imam Hussein alayhi salatu wasalam. How is it connected to this world? How can the message of Imam Hussein and the companions of Imam Hussein can actually enlighten the people that we are interacting with? That's the question what we need to ask, right? So there are two goals that we have when we discuss the personality of Abul Fadl Abbas or any companion for that matters. Firstly, to apply those principles into our lives. Okay, whatever we will be talking about today, we need to apply those principles in our lives, obviously, in a different context, obviously. And secondly, not only keep the knowledge to our own selves, but also to disseminate, to distribute it to others so that they can benefit from the universal message. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Obviously, it's Eid of Muharram, and there are generally a lot of majalis that are happening today. So I would like to keep it really simple and don't go into the details. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. The hadith that I used as my starting point was from Imam Zainul Abidin alayhi salatu wasalam. And it's a really different hadith. One time, Imam Zainul Abidin, he saw who? Ubaidullah ibn Abbas. Who was Ubaidullah ibn Abbas? Now, if we go through the history, who did Abbas alayhi salatu wasalam marry? Abbas alayhi salatu wasalam married with whom? Lubaba bint Ubaidullah bin Abbas. Same names, right? Lubaba, the daughter of Ubaidullah. And who was Ubaidullah? The son of Abbas. And who was Abbas? He was the uncle of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Remember this name Lubaba. Why is it important? Because the mother of Lubaba and the father of Lubaba, right? Ubaidullah. Ubaidullah was who? He was the governor of Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salatu wasalam in Yemen. So basically at the time of Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salatu wasalam, he had different governorates, right? He had different provinces in which he was ruling. One of the provinces was Basra, one was Kufa, one was Yemen, then we had Azerbaijan, different places in which Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salatu wasalam was ruling. And obviously you need a ruler and you need people, different governors that are managing that territory, right? So one of the place was what? Yemen. Yemen had a lot of Shias. Still, if you go, there are a lot of Shias there. Since the time of Amir al-Mu'mineen, there were a lot of Shias. Why? Because a huge group of people that converted to Islam was because of Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salatu wassalam. So you must have heard the name, the tribe of Hamadan. The tribe of Hamadan, Rasulullah sent Khalid ibn Walid to preach them. For 6 months, Khalid ibn Walid and his companions were trying to disseminate the message of Islam, but they were not successful. Eventually, Prophet sent whom? Prophet sent Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salatu wassalam. When Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salatu wassalam went into the plains of Yemen and he preached the message of Islam, within one day, the whole tribe of Hamadan, they converted to Islam. Right? They were pagans at that time. They were mushrik at that time. They converted to Islam at that time. This was because of the efforts that Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salatu wasalam put in. So obviously, those people had a lot of affection for whom? For Amir al-Mu'mineen. But what happened in Yemen was that Amir al-Mu'minin alayhi salatu wasalam was fighting a war against Muawiyah bin Abi Sufyan. While Amir al-Mu'minin alayhi salatu wasalam was fighting, eventually Battle of Siffin happened. When Battle of Siffin happened, something happened down the way, and the people, they raised Quran they raised the Quran on to, and they wanted to do what? They wanted to deceive the army of Amir al-Mu'minin. And a huge portion of the army of Amir al-Mu'minin, they were deceived because of this. When they raised Quran on the arrows, right? Then obviously the war was ended and Amir al-Mu'minin went back. While Amir al-Mu'minin went back, there was a contract between Muawiyah and Amir al-Mu'minin. Remember this. In Battle of Siffin, when it ended, there was a contract between Amir al-Mu'minin and Muawiyah bin Abi Sufyan that we won't be attacking each other till this year goes around, till the Hajj, time of the Hajj goes around. Muawiyah, Amir al-Mu'minin alayhi salatu wassalam, you know, he's one of those personalities that will always keep his words. When Amir al-Mu'minin has made a contract, he would never go against it. But unlike Amir al-Mu'minin, you had whom? You had Muawiyah that Amir al-Mu'minin was confronting with. Muawiyah used to send armies and would try to invade different lands that were under the control of Amir al-Mu'minin. So sometimes he would send an army that would go all the way to Egypt. And that's where you had Muhammad bin Abi Bakr, rahmatullahi alayhi. You know, Abu Bakr, the first caliph. He had a son. His name was what? Muhammad bin Abi Bakr. Muhammad bin Abi Bakr, some of the quotations that I have seen, it says that Amir al-Mu'minin used to say that even Muhammad was born from whom? From Abu Bakr, but he is my son. Why is it so? Because Amir al-Mu'minin alayhi salatu wasalam took care of Muhammad. And Muhammad used to love Amir al-Mu'minin alayhi salatu wasalam a lot. And obviously he didn't have love for his father for obvious reasons that we don't want to go into. Muhammad bin Abi Bakr was who? Was the governor of Egypt. Muawiyah sent an army into Egypt and they killed Muhammad. And not only they killed Muhammad, what they did, they put his body into what? Into the skin of a donkey. And then they burned the whole body. This was who Amir al-Mu'minin was dealing against. Against who? Against Muawiyah bin Abi Sufyan. Right? Likewise, the same Muawiyah bin Abi Sufyan, he sent another army under the leadership of whom? Busr bin Abi Arqad. Remember this name, Busr bin Abi Arqad. Busr bin Abi Arqad went into Yemen and he killed two small sons of Ubaidullah. Right? Remember the name Lubaba? Lubaba was who? She was the wife of Abu al-Fadl Abbas, right? So they endured what they have seen. They have seen their brothers, two small brothers that were killed in Yemen. Why were they being killed? Just because they were following Amir al-Mu'minin alayhi salatu wassalam. Imagine those two small kids. What was their, basically what have they done that they deserve to be killed like this? Even when Prophet used to fight a war against, you know, the most As-salatu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. We're just trying to remember the name. I think it's one of the battle in what is called Battle of Dhatul Salasil, right? Even then, when Amir al-Mu'minin alayhi salatu wasalam was sent, and also on the day of Khaybar, right? When Amir al-Mu'minin was sent there, Prophet used to give instructions that, oh Ali, when you go and fight them, make sure you preach Islam, the message of Islam first. And remember, you know, these were the teaching of Prophet. Remember, don't kill any woman, don't kill any children, don't kill anyone who is aged. Only kill the people that are fighting against you. This was the teaching of whom? This was the teaching of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Likewise, the teaching of Amir al-Mu'minin. When Amir al-Mu'minin fought against the army of Basra in Battle of Jamal, when Amir al-Mu'minin alayhi salatu wasalam fought against the army of Muawiyah and Siffin, and also the Khawarij, the instructions were that if there was an injured, don't kill that injured. If someone is running away, don't go after this. These are the teachings that we have got from whom? From Amir al-Mu'minin alayhi salatu wasalam, who used to love his people, who would love the people that they should be guided, right? This was the preaching of Amir al-Mu'minin. While you had someone that would go against all the rules, that would go against all the contracts, right? And would send the army to the places where Amir al-Mu'minin would lead and would kill the people there. And not only in Egypt that it happened, not only in Yemen that it happened, they also invaded Medina. They also invaded Mecca. They also invaded Ta'if. They also invaded a lot of other areas of Iraq, like Anbar. Today too, Anbar is one of the provinces in Iraq, right? So they would invade the army of Muawiyah. They would invade all those areas, even though they had a contract with Amir al-Mu'minin. And people would come to Amir al-Mu'minin that, yeah, Amir al-Mu'minin, why are you not responding back? And why are you not attacking what? Why are you not attacking Syria? Because Muawiyah used to rule Syria. But Amir al-Mu'minin would always say that I would always keep my contract. I would always keep my words, right? So this is one of the teaching that we all can learn. If you have done contract, or if you have given your promise to anyone, even though it might be your enemy, you have to keep that promise. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. So we talk about Lubaba, who was Lubaba, rahmatullahi alayha, who was the wife of Abu Fadl Abbas. And they had two sons, right? One was what? Fadl. That's why Abbas is called what? Abu Fadl Abbas, Abu Fadl, right? The father of Fadl. And also they had another son, his name was Ubaidullah. And then the subsequent generation that came from the progeny of Abbas, right? They were from which? They were from Ubaidullah ibn Abbas. So Imam Zainul Abidin, this is Ubaidullah ibn Abbas. We come back to the real hadith that we're talking about. Imam looked at Ubaidullah ibn Abbas for 1 second, and as soon as he looked to Ubaidullah ibn Abbas, he started crying. And the hadith says that doesn't it used to happen one time. It would happen most of the time that Ubaidullah would come in front of Imam Zainul Abidin, and Imam Zainul Abidin would start weeping around, would start crying around, and would say that as soon as I look at Ubaidullah, the son of Abu Fadl, how Abu Fadl Abbas on the day of Ashura, on the plains of Karbala, how he has sacrificed his life. And not only he would just say this, he would say that Abbas alayhi salatu wassalam has a special status, has a special rank, right? And what is that rank? That when the martyrs, Jami'ur Shuhada, you know, when we talk about all the martyrs, we're not only talking about the people that have given their life on the plains of Karbala. We're not only talking about the people that have given their life on the battle of Badr, on the battle of Uhud. We're talking about every martyr that came from all the time from Prophet Adam alayhi salatu wasalam till the day of judgment. When they would look at the special status that Abbas alayhi salatu wasalam is given by Allah, they would wish same for them too. This is the status of Abu Fadl Abbas alayhi salatu wasalam. And that's why we need to feel really proud, and we need to feel really humble at the same time too, that Allah has given us this guidance. Allah has given us this privilege to come and commemorate what? The Shahada of Abu Fadl Abbas alayhi salatu wasalam. A question might come into your mind, and that question is really genuine. That, okay, brother, you have talked about Abu Fadl, but why don't we have much details about Abu Fadl Abbas alayhi salatu wasalam? And this is true, right? We don't have a lot of details, right? When we talk about Abu Fadl Abbas, it's usually around the day of Ashura, around whatever happened, whatever took place. But his initial years, what used to happen? Why is it? Why don't we have those details, right? So one or two answers that we can give is that generally people would concentrate on imams. Remember, Abbas alayhi salatu wassalam was going through the time when he had Amir al-Mu'minin alayhi salatu wassalam, Imam Hassan, Imam Hussein alayhi wassalam, all of them surrounding him, right? And remember the last year, some of you might would remember, Amir al-Mu'minin alayhi salatu wassalam said that Abbas has been given the knowledge, Zukka al-ilmi, Zukka, that Abbas has been fed with the knowledge the way he should be fed. Why? Because he was living with 3 imams. So imagine if you're living with 3 imams, right? How is it possible that the people would write your biography, right? And would leave Imam Ali or Imam Hassan or Imam Hussein alayhi salam. So generally the focus of the historians were what? Were these personality, were these blessed personality. It's the second issue that comes in. Usually the history is written by whom? History is written by the people that didn't used to have really favorable opinion for Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam. Right? If you go through the books, Shamsuddin Zahabi, Ibn Kathir, right? These are some of the historical books, book of history by Tabari, by Ibn Khaldun, by Ibn Kathir. You go through these books, right? And you can clearly see they have so much bias against Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam and the followers of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam. So you wouldn't expect them to mention about the history of the companions of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam. Why? Because they don't have good faith for Ahlul Bayt generally. Since they don't have good faith for Ahlul Bayt, so anyone who has good faith for Ahlul Bayt, generally there will be some biases against them. So generally, these are some of the reasons that you would see there's not a lot which is mentioned about Abul Fadl Abbas, but whatever is mentioned around, we would mention some more points regarding it. Besides salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. One of the debate that comes in, and honestly, I'm running short of time, and I want to finish my majlis on a given time frame. And I wanted to talk about the laqab or the special names that Abu Fadl Abbas alayhi salatu wassalam is given by his family, by Imams alayhi salam, but we just don't have time, right? But one of the name which is given to Abu Fadl Abbas alayhi salatu wassalam is what? Saqqa. Even in Iran, when they would mourn on Abu Fadl Abbas, they would have this special name, Saqqa, right? Even we say, Saqqai Harame Imam Hussein alayhi salatu wasalam. What is Saqqa? And even when you are, even in the alam, right? You would generally have this thing, the mush, right? With the alam, right? This small water tank, right, that you see with it, right? This donates what Abu Fadl Abbas alayhi salatu wasalam was. Remember the day, 7th of Muharram. 7th of Muharram was the day when Ibn Ziyad gave special orders that water should not go into the tents of Imam Hussein and his companion alayhi salam. And what was his reason? Go through the book of history, see Tabari, right? Tabari, and also Akhbar al-Tawal of Abu Hanifa, Dionari, some of the books that I'm mentioning, right? Go to the books. See what was the reason that was given. The reason that was given by Ubaidullah ibn Ziyad of not giving water to Imam Hussein and his companion was really simple. Because these people, as per him, they didn't give water to whom? To Uthman ibn Affan, the third caliph. This was his reasoning. Oh, since they didn't give the water to Uthman ibn Affan, so that's why we won't give the water to the family of Imam Hussein. Is that true? It's completely false. Imam Ali alayhi salatu wasalam was the personality. You know, Uthman ibn Affan, the way he was killed, he was put into house arrest for 40 days. The people of Egypt came in, the people of Basra, the people of Kufa, so they all came in. And also they were supported by the companions within the Medina. The companions like Ammar ibn Yasir, like Talha ibn Ubaidullah, like Zubair ibn Awam, even the mother of the believer, Aisha bint Abi Bakr, used to be really against Uthman ibn Affan. At that moment, when people didn't give water, right, one drop of water they didn't want to give, Amir al-Mu'min alayhi salatu wasalam would send the Hashmiyites, the Banu Hashim, to go and give the water to Uthman ibn Affan. And what we all know about the history, these are the same people that took the right of Amir al-Mu'min alayhi salatu wassalam. These are the same people that were responsible for killing Sayyidah Fatima al-Zahra. But this is Amir al-Mu'min alayhi salatu wassalam. Remember, and this is one of the etiquettes that we can learn too, that whenever someone does wrong to you, don't reply with the same wrong what they have done to you. Try to do good deeds with them. Maybe they might get changed. Or even if they don't change, At least you have done your hujjah. At least when you go on the day of judgment, you would tell the people, you would tell to Allah that, oh Allah, even though what he has done to me and my family, I used to take care of him and his family. So imagine. So this was the wrong argument that was used by Ubaidullah ibn Ziyad. Remember this name, Ubaidullah ibn Ziyad. At that moment, Imam Hussein alayhi salatu wassalam sent a small battalion, right? Imam said to go and get water from the shores of Furat. Then Abu Fadl Abbas on 7th of Muharram, right? Remember this date. He went with Nafi bin Hilal. They all went into the Furat and they had a small battle with Amr bin Hajjaj, who was one of the commander of Ibn Ziyad. And at that moment, they got the water and they got the water back. Was that water consumed or not? That's another question. Why? Because there are some reports that when Burair got the water fell around because people were so rushing towards the water. So we don't go into that debate. Saqqa is called what? Because Abu al-Fadl Abbas alayhi salatu wassalam got the water. Imagine how much was the army that was guarding the shores of Furat. 4,000 men were there. 4,000 men. And imagine against 4,000 men, you have 30 people that are going and fighting with them. And who was leading them? Abu al-Fadl Abbas alayhi salatu wassalam was leading them. He's the same Abbas alayhi salatu wassalam. When on the day of Siffin, in some of the books you could see, on the day of Siffin, Amir al-Mu'min alayhi salatu wassalam had a lot of battles with the army of Muawiyah. So Abu al-Fadl Abbas went and wanted to fight against Ibn Sha'atha. Remember the name Ibn Sha'atha? Ibn Sha'atha was called who? He was called as equivalent to 1,000 soldiers. He was so brave and he has such a command in battles that he was equal to 1,000 regular army men. When he looked at a 14 years old, remember Abu al-Fadl Abbas was born in 26th of Hijrah, right? So when he looked at 12 or 13 years old, he was just like, this is a small kid. I wouldn't go and fight a small kid. Okay, yallah. One of the son he sent it. Abu al-Fadl Abbas alayhi salatu wassalam, when he was fighting, the son was killed by Abu al-Fadl Abbas. Then the second son went, then the third, then the fourth, then the fifth, then the sixth, then the seventh. 7 kids of Ibn Sha'atha. They were killed by Abu al-Fadl Abbas. And Abu al-Fadl Abbas is who? 12 or 13 years old. And while he was fighting at that time, he didn't reveal his face. At that time, they would just wrap from a piece of a cloth and you could only see the eyes. You cannot see the real person. At that moment, Ibn Sha'atha came in by himself and he fought against the 12 years old Abbas at that moment. And even at that moment, Ibn Sha'atha was killed by Abu al-Fadl Abbas. This was the bravery of Abu al-Fadl Abbas. What we can learn here? We can learn here one thing, which is when we are faced with the difficulties in our life, just don't give away. Just don't give away and think like, I can't confront that difficult situation. Imagine Abu al-Fadl Abbas, he would have known that who is he fighting against? He's fighting against a person who is equal to 1,000 people. Still, Abu al-Fadl Abbas didn't leave the battleground. He fought against all the odds. He fought against all the people that were coming against him. And finally, he was responsible. And when he went and met Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salatu wasalam was really proud of him. And obviously, there are some more details. This is what donates why we call Abu al-Fadl Abbas as what? Saqqa. Saqqa is anyone that feeds with the water. That brings the water to the camp of or to the tents of Imam Hussein alayhi salatu wassalam. Recite salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. One last point that I want to mention about Abu al-Fadl Abbas that's really connected to us, and obviously I just didn't have enough time that I could speak more about the personality of Abu al-Fadl. What is that last point? We call, in Urdu, what we call him, we call Abu al-Fadl Abbas as Sarkar Wafa. Right, in Arabic, what we call him? Sahibul Wafa. Someone who was most loyal to Imam Hussain alayhi salatu wassalam. If you want to personify loyalty or the wafa into a personality, into a human being, you would only have Abu Fadl Abbas alayhi salatu wassalam. There's no doubt about it, right? And the loyalty that he had for Imam Hussain alayhi salatu wassalam, or to Imam Hassan or to Amir al-Mu'mineen, that's one thing I really want you all to learn when you get up here. You know, he is really loyal to the Imam of his time. How much are we loyal to the Imam of our time? How can we start our loyalty? You know, the way Imam Sadiq alayhi salatu, I mean, even on the Thursday nights when you are reciting the ziyarah, how do you say? Al-muti'u lillahi wa li rasuli wa li amir al-mu'minin wal hasani wal husayn salawatullahi alayhi. That, oh, Abu Fadl Abbas, this is Imam Sadiq alayhi salatu wasalam saying. That's not a random person like you and me that's describing Abu Fadl. This is Imam, infallible, that's describing Abu Fadl Abbas. Oh, Abu Fadl Abbas, you are the one that had followed inclusively who? Allah, His Messenger, Amir al-Mu'mineen, Imam Hassan and Imam Hussain alayhi wasalam, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi. This was Abu Fadl Abbas. This is what we see from Imam Sadiq alayhi salatu wassalam. And how do we see, how did Abu Fadl Abbas reacted? You need to remember that Amir al-Mu'mineen, who was the mother of Abu Fadl Abbas? We read, it's al-Banin, Fatima bint Hazam al-Kallabiya, rahmatullahi alayha wa salawatullahi alayha. Please recite a salawat on her name. If you ever come across a difficult situation in your life, it's not really relevant in our Pakistani Indian society here in subcontinent, right? But I have seen a lot of Iraqis, right? Or the Arabs, right? The Shias. When they come through a difficult situation, they do tawassul of al-Banin salawatullahi alayhi. She only had 4 sons. al-Banin salawatullahi. All 4 sons died on the plain of Karbala. Whatever she had, she gave it in the way of Imam Hussain alayhi salatu. So obviously she was from which tribe? From Banu Kallab, right? Banu Kallab is one of the sub-tribe of Banu Asad. Remember this. Shimr ibn Dhul-Jawshan, la'natullahi alayhi, right? Shimr ibn Dhul-Jawshan was from the same tribe as of the tribe of al-Banin. So he came on the day of Ashura. And on the day of Ashura, he said, where are the sons of my sister? Because see, in Arabs, they would say sister, even to the sister that were not your bodily sister, obviously. They would say sister to anyone that were from the same tribe. Where are the sons of my sister? See the way. Abu Fadl Abbas knew that Shimr wanted to talk to him. Abu Fadl Abbas didn't reply. Why? Why should I reply to a person that had so much hatred against Amir al-Mu'mineen and Imam Hassan and Imam Hussain? Didn't reply. Imam Hussain alayhi salatu wasalam, because this was his duty not to reply at that moment. And then Imam Hussain alayhi salatu wasalam said, "Oh Abbas, oh Abu Fadl, reply to him even though he is a transgressor, he is a fasiq, still reply to him." So they had a conversation. Abu Fadl said, "Why are you here? Why do you want to talk to me?" He said, "I have got from Ubaidullah bin Ziyad." So you see, he at that moment, he got an amnesty for Abu Fadl Abbas. What is amnesty? That, oh, Abu Fadl Abbas, if you want to change your position and your sides, you come here to us. If you come to us, you wouldn't be harmed. Leave Imam Hussain alayhi salatu wasalam, right? You and your 3 brothers. So you 4 people, you guys can come in and you can join us. Even though if you don't join us, that's not a problem. Just leave Imam Hussain alayhi salatu wasalam. This was one of the demands of Shimr bin Dhul-Jawshan. And imagine you are being confronted with a situation in which you haven't drank water for so many days. You know your ultimate end will be that you will be martyred. Who doesn't love their life? Who doesn't want to live more? At that moment, when the peace offer was given to Abu Fadl Abbas by Shimr ibn al-Jawshan, what was the reply of Abu Fadl Abbas? And if we go through this reply, and if we want to determine where we are standing, we can clearly see the difference between the reply of Abu Fadl Abbas and the difference between the way we act in our lives. The reply was simple. The reply was, La'nak Allah, O Shimr, may Allah withdraw mercy from you. Why is it so? Atu'minuna, you want to give us this peace offer. Wabna Rasulillah, Wabna Rasulullah, La amana lahu. You want to give this peace offer to me and my brothers, right? 3 of us, 4 in total. But you don't want to give the peace offer to whom? To the son of Prophet Imam Hussein alayhi salatu wassalam. And not only here, وَتَأْمُرُونَ أَن نُدْخِلَ فِي طَاعَةِ اللُّعْنَى. And you want us to come and follow the leadership of Lu'na, the people, the La'in, Yazid ibn Muawiyah. You want us to follow him and come under his leadership? وَأَوْلَادُ اللُّعْنَى. And Abu Fadl Abbas just doesn't stop here. He said Yazid, who is La'in, and his father was also La'in, Muawiyah bin Abi Sufyan. Awlad al-Lu'na, not only Muawiyah, but also his grandfather Abu Sufyan. Awlad al-Lu'na. You want us to come under the leadership of these La'in, of these people that Allah has withdrawn their mercy from, and leave Imam Hussein alayhi salatu wassalam. That's not going to happen. And this is what happened on the evening of 9th of Muharram. Tomorrow is what? Tasu'a, 9th of Muharram. Ibn Ziyad, Umar ibn Sa'ad, he came in. Ibn Ziyad ordered, go and attack Imam Hussein. So Umar ibn Sa'ad, who was the commander of the army of Yazid, he came in. And he said that you have 2 choices, right? Either you accept and follow the leadership of Yazid, or we fight with you. These were the 2 simple choices at that time. Imam Hussein alayhi salatu wasalam said to Abu Fadl Abbas, so here, Abu Fadl, this is the point that I want to really emphasize upon. About the bravery of Imam on the day of Siffin. We know how he fought on the day of Ashura, but do we know how good he was as a leader? Imam Hussein alayhi salatu wasalam said a really special word. He said, Irkab, oh my brother, go. And not only Imam Hussein said this, right? He said it, he went a little further. He said, Irkab binafsi anta ya akhi. Oh my brother, oh my beloved brother, go and talk to them. May Allah ransom my life to you. Allahu Akbar. You know, even you go and talk to, when you go and read the ziyarah, what do you say? Ja'alallahu li fidak. May Allah ransom my life for you, O Imam Hussein alayhi salatu wassalam. We are the one that should give our lives to Imam Hussein. And what is Imam Hussein saying here? May Allah sacrifice my life to you, Abu Fadl. This is the position of Abu Fadl Abbas. Imam doesn't just say anything because of his love. He has love for his brother, but he would only say these words if someone really deserves those words. This was the personality of Abu Fadl Abbas. So Abu Fadl Abbas, imagine going to the people, going and meeting Umar ibn Sa'ad and the heads there and saying that we need one more night. And why Imam Hussein alayhi salatu wasalam needed that night? Imam Hussein alayhi salatu wasalam mentioned that I wanted to do istighfar. I wanted to pray in this night. And not only praying here, right? He also wanted to test the companions that he had. And right? So what happened was that when the Maghrib Isha was done on the night of Ashura, this question came up. Imam Hussein alayhi salatu wasalam at that moment, he asked the people and he asked his companions, all my companions, imagine, remember, most of his companions, almost all of his companions were from where? From Kufa and Basra. These two places, mostly from Kufa. Habib bin Muzahir al-Asadi from Kufa. Burayr al-Hamadani from Kufa. Zuhair bin Qayn from Kufa. So Kufa was a city that had bad people, that had good people. Almost all the companions that Imam had were from Kufa. So Imam said, oh, my companions, I haven't seen anyone that are most loyal to anyone from my grandfather, Prophet Muhammad, from my father, Amir Mu'min. I haven't seen anyone that are loyal to them as I have seen you all loyal to me. And I guarantee you Jannah. You know, Jannah is not a problem. You will be going ultimately, right? I guarantee you. Can you give me a favor? If you think, these are my words, these are not the words of Imam Hussein. I'm just trying to paraphrase it, right? If you think that will be difficult for you to fight tomorrow, you can leave this tent, and in this night where barely people can see each other, you can leave, because this is your area. This is Iraq, right? You would know your area better than others. And not only you go by yourself, take one of my family member too with you, right? One family member, imagine Burair takes one of the family member like us. Then you have Zohair going, Zohair might just take Aun. Imagine, because why? Because Imam Hussein said, they have a problem with me. They don't have a problem with you. They just want to kill me. They don't want to kill you all. You have a choice, you can go. And then you know the famous incident, right? The lights were turned off. And at that moment, when the lights were turned on again, you see the companions. And one of the places I read or I heard, the companions had their sword off and they had it here, right? And then who was the first person to start the conversation? It was Abu Fadl Abbas alayhi salatu wassalam. He said, Mawla, why should we leave you? You think that we can spend one night or one day after you? How can we live our life without you? And then you had, this is Abu Fadl Abbas leading the companions. Then you have Sa'id bin Abdullah al-Hanfi speaking up. Then you have Zuhair bin Qais speaking up. Then you have Muslim ibn Aus just speaking up. Then you have companions speaking up and saying, Mawla, if we are being killed 70 times, or if we are being killed 100 times, and then our body is burned, and then after burning, those ashes are spread around, even then we would never leave you alone. These were the companions of Imam Hussein alayhi salatu wassalam. And this connects me to the musibah part now. Right? When we talk about the musibah of Abu Fadl Abbas alayhi salatu wassalam, you know, like when we talk about the night of Ashura, we generally have a really limited knowledge of the night of Ashura. And I'm so sorry, I just went 5 minutes ahead. I hope you wouldn't mind. When we talk about the night of Ashura, we just know some basic understanding. But do we know how much sacrifices were put on the night of Ashura? You know, Imam Hussein alayhi salatu wassalam came and he requested Abu Fadl, oh Abu Fadl, try to dig the well now. See if we can get some water. Imagine on that night time, the wells were digged, you know, and it's a barren land. It's not easy. Abu Fadl Abbas was taking care of it. And oh, you are Abbas, you are the one that will take care of all tents here. All the tents that we have, you will be the one that will be patrolling that area. You will be one that will be taking care and making sure no enemy would come and attack us at this night time. So Abu Fadl Abbas, his duties were not only on the day of Ashura. Those duties started from the night of Ashura. And then Ashura came in, the day of Ashura came in. Imam Hussein alayhi salatu wassalam had how many companions? 72 companions. We might have difference in figure. People say 72 companions, and then you had the family members. Okay, how many? Whatever they were, not more than 150 people. 150 people, 72 people are going to fight against 30,000 people, right? Such a small army against such a huge army. Even then, Imam Hussein alayhi salatu wassalam just didn't want them to die so easily. He had a proper formation of the army. So in old times, you used to have three parts of the army. One would be called right part, Maymana. The other one would be called the left part, Maysara. And then you have the qalb, the center of the army. The Maymana was given to whom? To Zuhair bin Qayn. Zuhair bin Qayn, rahmatullahi alayhi, was the leader of Maymana. Then you have Maysara, the left part. Habib ibn al-Mudahir al-Asadi. Remember the names. Habib bin Mudahir al-Asadi was the leader of the left one. And then he gave the flag to Abu Fadl Abbas. This is what Abu Fadl Abbas alayhi salatu wassalam was. और जब रात में ज़ुहैर बिन क़ैन रहमतुल्लाहि अलैहि हज़रत अब्बास के पास जाते हैं तो कहते हैं कि तुम जानते हो तुम्हारी वजह खिलकत क्या है अब्बास? एक दफा जाते हैं और कहते हैं बताओ क्या है ज़ुहैर? अल्फाज मेरे हैं, रिवायतें जो किताबों में मौजूद है, इसरार और शहादात और दीगर किताबों में। कहते हैं ए अब्बास, जब अमीर अल-मोमिनीन अलैहिस्सलातु वस्सलाम ने शादी करना चाहिए थी तो किसी ऐसी खातून से शादी करना चाहते थे ताकि उससे एक ऐसी औलाद हो जो उनके बेटे इमाम हुसैन अलैहिस्सलातु वस्सलाम के राह में शहादत दे। और ऐसी शहादत हो, ये मेरे अपने अल्फाज, ऐसी शहादत तो शायद अमीर अल-मोमिनीन चाहते कि इमाम हुसैन फर्जंदे नबी हैं, मैं करबला में मौजूद नहीं हूँ, मेरी तरफ से नुमाइंदगी करने वाला कौन हो? ये है शख्सियत अब्बास जो अमीरुल मोमिनीन अलैहिस्सलातु, मेरा दिल कहता है अमीरुल मोमिनीन अलैहिस्सलातु वस्सलाम की जिस शख्स ने नुमाइंदगी की है उस शख्सियत का नाम अबुल फजल अब्बास। ये है अमीरुल मोमिनीन की मोहब्बत इमाम हुसैन से। और किसको चुना है? अबुल फजल अब्बास को चुना है। दिन शुरू होता है, एक एक करके शहादतें होना शुरू होती हैं, एक एक करके सहाबी जाते हैं, शहीद हो जाते हैं। अब बनु हाशिम, अब खानदान अहले बैत की बारी आती है। सबसे पहले औलाद मुस्लिम जाती है, वो शहीद होती है। औलाद अकील जाती है, वो शहीद होती है। औलाद जाफर जाती है, वो शहीद हो जाती है। अब औलाद अमीरुल मोमिनीन अलैहिस्सलातु वस्सलाम की बारी है। यहाँ पर हजरत अब्बास, और ये आप लोग सबक, remember this lesson, right? The way Abu Fadl Abbas led his brothers. एक दफा कहते हैं अपने तीनों भाइयों से, तीनों भाइयों में का नाम क्या था? अब्दुल्ला, जाफर और उस्मान, तीन भाइयों के नाम। उस्मान बिन मज़ऊन रहमतुल्लाहि अलैहि, उनके नाम पर रखा गया ये प्यारा सा नाम। उस वक्त जाते हैं अमीरुल मोमिनीन के तीनों बेटों से, हजरत अब्बास कहते हैं कि मैं चाहता हूं कि तुम लोग मेरी निगरानी में शहादत पेश करो। एक एक करके अब्दुल्ला जाते हैं, जाफर जाते हैं, उस्मान जाते हैं, सगे भाई सब के सब शहीद हो जाते हैं। कासिम भी ना रहे और मोहम्मद भी ना रहे, एक एक करके हर कोई चला जाता है। अब बस जब हजरत अब्बास इमाम हुसैन अलैहिस्सलातु वस्सलाम के पास अब आते हैं और कहते हैं कि मौला अब दिल नहीं चाहता कि अब इस दुनिया में रहा जाए। मेरा दिल ये कहता होगा, कहा होगा, दिल नहीं चाहता कि अब इस दुनिया में मजीद रहा जाए। और एक दफा गिरिया करते हैं वो तमाम शोहदा पर जो अब चले गए होते हैं, और इमाम हुसैन से आके एक दफा इजाजत मांगते हैं। एक दफा इमाम हुसैन जब इजाजत के सुनते हैं तो कहते हैं अब्बास, ए अब्बास, आप हमारे लश्कर के अलमबरदार हैं, हम किस तरीके से आपको इजाजत दे सकते हैं अब्बास? ए अब्बास, अगर आप चले जाएंगे तो हमारी पूरी फौज मुंतशिर हो जाएगी। बस एक दफा हजरत अब्बास सुनते हैं, दिल ये कहता होगा, एक दफा सोचा होगा, है मौला वो फौजी कहाँ जिसका मैं सरदार था? एक एक करके चले गए हैं और वहां बच्चों की अलतश हाय प्यास की आवाजें हजरत अब्बास सुन रहे होते हैं। इमाम हुसैन के पास आते हैं। बस इमाम हुसैन अब समझ जाते हैं। इमाम हुसैन कहते हैं अब्बास, आप जाइए, इन बच्चों के लिए पानी का इंतजाम कीजिए। बस एक दफा हजरत अब्बास रुखसत होके जाते हैं। उलमा के मुंह से सुना है मैंने कि जिस तरीके से एक जनाजा जिस तरीके से एक जनाजा खैमों से जाता है, उस तरीके से अब्बास अब्बास रुखसत होके खैमों से जाते हैं। दिल ये कहता है कभी हजरत ज़ैनब पकड़ लेती होंगी, कभी कभी हजरत उम्मे कुलसूम पकड़ लेती होंगी और कहती होंगी हाय अब्बास, ए अब्बास हमारी गुर्बत पर रहम खाइए, आप चले जाएंगे तो इस पर्देदार खवातीन का मुहाफिज कौन होगा। बस हजरत अब्बास जाते हैं, फौज अशकिया के साथ जंग करते हैं, जंग के आने के बाद एक दफा पानी पर पहुंचते हैं। रिवायत के जुमले हैं, रिवायत के जुमले हैं, एक दफा पानी को हाथ पे लेते हैं, बताते हैं पानी का इख्तियार भी हमारे पास है। इमाम हुसैन की प्यास को याद करते हैं, एक दफा पानी को फेंक देते हैं, मशकों को भरते हैं, बस एक दफा पानी लेकर वापस आना चाहते हैं। जब पानी लेकर वापस आ रहे होते हैं तो वहां पर एक शकी आदमी हजरत अब्बास पर हमला करता है, आपका सीधा हाथ कलम हो जाता है। थोड़ा सा आगे चलते हैं, अलम को हिफाजत में रखते हैं, मशकों को हिफाजत में रखते हैं, थोड़ा सा और आगे चलते हैं, एक और शकी हजरत अब्बास का उल्टा हाथ कलम कर देता है। बस अब ख्वाहिश ये होती है किसी भी तरीके से ये पानी, किसी भी तरीके से ये पानी फौजे इमाम हुसैन तक पहुंच जाए, बच्चों तक पहुंच जाए, बच्चों की प्यास बुझ जाए। थोड़ा सा आगे चलते हैं, थोड़ा सा आगे चलते हैं कि एक तीर मशको आके लगता है। बस अब के गोया उम्मीद टूट जाती है अब्बास की। एक शकी आके जोर से पीछे से गर्ज मारता है, चारों तरफ से तीरों का हमला होता है। हाय अब्बास, हाय अब्बास। बस हजरत अब्बास से अब रहा नहीं जाता, एक दफा कहते हैं वाह खा वाह अलिया वाह हुसैना अलैका मिन्नी सलाम या अबा अब्दुल्लाह, इमाम हुसैन हमारा आखिरी सलाम कबूल कीजिए। बस एक दफा नीचे आते हैं, इमाम हुसैन ये आवाज सुन के अब्बास तक पहुंचते हैं, अब्बास के चेहरे को, अब्बास के सर को अपनी गोद में लेते हैं। अज़ादारों, अज़ादारों, उस वक्त हजरत अब्बास अपने सर को इमाम हुसैन की गोद से हटा देते हैं, पूछते हैं है अब्बास, ए भैया ऐसा क्यों करते हो। कहते हैं मौला, ए मेरे आका, अभी तो मेरा सर आपकी गोद में है, लेकिन कुछ लम्हों के बाद आपको शहीद किया जा रहा होगा, आपको शहीद किया जा रहा होगा तो आपका सर कहाँ होगा। बस अब रिवायत के आखिरी जुमले हैं कि एक जाकिर एक जाकिर आके हजरत अब्बास को ख्वाब में देखता है और कहता है मेरे जाकिर, क्यों मेरे मसाइब को नहीं पढ़ते, क्यों मेरे मसाइब को नहीं पढ़ते। वो कहता है मौला मैं आपकी हर मुसीबत को तो पढ़ता हूँ, मैं पढ़ता हूँ कि किस तरीके से आपको तीर लगा, किस तरीके से आपके बाजू कलम हुए। बस एक दफा हजरत अब्बास कहते हैं जाकिर, देखो जो भी शहीद गिरता था घोड़े से अपने हाथों के सहारे को लेके नीचे गिरता था, लेकिन हाय मेरी मुसीबत मेरी आंखों में एक तीर था, मेरे जिस्मों पे तीर पेवस थे। एक दफा जब मैं जीन से जमीन पर आता हूँ, सारे शहीद अपने हाथों के सहारे से आते हैं, लेकिन हाय रे मेरी मुसीबत, हाय रे मेरी मुसीबत के एक दफा जब मैं नीचे आता हूँ तो मेरे हाथ नहीं होते, सारे के सारे तीर जिस्मों के
this poetry, you have to get your chest harder, inshallah. It's the two words of a short poem. Once again, my heart beats as hands beat their chest. Restless souls gather under domes made from the wings of angels. The strangers become one family, wearing black for the front of the reason for the existence of humanity. All vanity creeps out from the chest of proud men aloud when angels are commanded. Amarullahu malaikata an yarfahu qamis al-Husayn alayhi salam. It's time. Let the shirt of Hussein blind you in his love, so that eyes can see what crimes they think they got away with. Amidst the abyss, which is dunya, it's as if Allah is saying, cling on, this is your ship of salvation, messenger of Allah, city of knowledge. Ali is the gate, messenger of Allah, mercy to mankind, Hussein is the gate. In Hussein keys, Persian poet says, why has everyone gone mad in the love of Hussein? The entire world is revolving around one man, and this man is revolving around his young son, Ali ibn al-Akbar. Come to Ashura. It appears that Hussein was always surrounded. Someone comes, kisses his hand, another hugs him. Whether he sits or stands, Hussein is never alone, in flesh or tomb. Now, who can see his loneliness? His son Ali ibn al-Akbar. He comes for permission. Hussein delayed everyone. When he saw Ali, he said, go make me proud. Back and forth, he keeps walking around them. Is your armor okay? He keeps tightening it. Ali looks at Hussein's finger, they're shaking. Hussein in weakness, it doesn't make sense. Ali, same Hussein on the day entered like thunder and lightning. His voice gave earthquakes. Ana Hussein, Ali, alaytu an la an yantani. Ahmi iyanati abi amdi ala din nabi. Hussein, who made them scatter like bugs, felt weak when he saw Ali getting ready. One of the poets says, eyes haven't seen better than you, O Ali. Women haven't seen better than you, O Ali. Not a single fault in you, as you wished were made, O Ali. Ya ayyatuhun nafsul mutma'inna irji'i ila rabbika radiyatan marziya. O Father of the righteous servants, Ya Abba Abdullah, return to your Lord and enter into paradise. And I say, Ya Allah, there was no point in staying anyways after Ali al-Akbar. Ya Ali, ala dunya ba'daka al-afa. Oh Ali, there's no point in living after you. Today is his day. Tonight is his night. The night of Ali al-Akbar, inshallah. Picture one Hussein standing in front of millions. Some reports say the horizons ended with the helmets and spears of Yazid's army. The storms are blowing. It's as if winds are communicating. Don't stop. Don't let these ignorant eyes see the beauty of Ali Muhammad. When the dust settled, the men were told, Hussein's camp just has diamonds. It's lost the gold. Hurair, Nafi, Bisur. One by one, what left is gold. Lions embracing one another. And tyrants stand sensing the trouble. Who will he send now? What is this puzzle? Suns and moons are hugging each other. Jafar, Aqil, Hassan, seen in the faces of kids and their mothers chanting and praising, help your master. Peak of loyalty in the face of disaster to answer the sorrowful cries of their master Hussein. So they gather again. Bani Hashim, faces like swords glistening in the sun, scattering beasts like flies as they run. Then he comes from the tip of his hair to his feet. It's begun. Muhammad's back on the face of the earth, and I heard Hussein raises his hands, tears drip down to the sand like pearls in the midst of the grief for a throne. Allahumma ashhad ala ha'ula ilaqam faqad baraza ilayhim ghulamun أشبه الناس خلقا وخلقا ومنطقا برسولك. That's it. Should I say he rode? No, he flew to the battlefield like lightning, frightening sight with Hamza's might. Asadullah al-Ghalib's fight in him. Hayya dharra, cuts and tears and rips and prays. It's as if Hussein is chanting Haydara, Haydara. أنا علي بن الحسين بن علي نحن وبيت الله أولاد النبي أطعنكم بربه حتى ينهني أضربكم والسيف أحمي عن أبي ضرب غلام هاشمي علوي والله لا يحكم فينا ابن الدعي. I am Ali ibn al-Husayn ibn Ali. By Allah, we are more worthy of your Nabi. With this sword, I'll defend my family and strike like a young Hashimi and Alawi, and we shall never be ruled by the Da'i. In a hurry, Hussein yells, Umar ibn Sa'd, what is the matter with you? His turban drops. He raises his hands. Allah, bear witness. They're taking a man who looks like your prophet. And what if I told you thunderbolts were coming out of Ali's sword? Some thought, is this Haydar has he been reborn? Hussein blocks the sun with the palm of his hands, trying to focus the hands, hitting his eyes where the land is being turned upside down. A lance is being thrown. A broken frown shakes the ground for Layla. Is he okay? What happened? Bones breaking, attacking one by one, as if Hussein's bones are breaking and cracking. He loses his balance. Did he walk or crawl as his son called out, Ya Abbas, Hadhrat, Jaddi. Hussein hurries. They say, run, 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 run. They say, run, it's coming. He yells, Aina tufirrun. Where are you running, O enemies of Allah? Now picture this. Hussein's cheek is on his cheek. Their breath is synchronizing. He tries to pick up one side of the body, the other falls out. He covers one wound, the other sprouts out. He gives up. That's how many pieces there were. Suddenly we see the sun is setting. Everyone's shot through pitch black darkness, and then you see a shooting star. Nudge Mustaqib. Wait. That's not a star. That's Zainab. Hussein yells, Abbas, stop her. Don't let her come. Zainab ran and threw herself on him. Wa Aliya, Wabna Uqayya. It was this moment and the moment when Hussein, the flow of tears was constant like a river on the face of Hussein. Umar ibn Sa'd says, surround him from all the sides. For those of you who have been to Qilla Zainabiyya, stand there, look at it. When I personally went there, I asked Sayyida Zainab, did you really see all of what they claim you saw? It's as if I can hear her respond. Yes, I saw them looting his clothes like rapacious wolves. Have you seen hungry wolves catch prey after days of hunger? Everyone wants the best part. Someone takes his turban, another takes his shirt, another takes his ring. It's stuck. They cut his finger. Aywa Husayna. Imam al-Sadiq says they surround him from every angle. وفرقة بالسيوف وفرقة بالرماح وفرقة بالسهام وفرقة بالحجارة. They're all surrounding him. Then you hear a call, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. لقد قتل الحسين ابن فاطمة. يا حسين يا حسين يا حسين. Say.
ज़माना तुझे रोए अब्बास तेरा हक है ज़माना तुझे रोए जब शाम व सहर फातिमा ज़हरा तुझे रोए जब शाम फातिमा ज़हरा तुझे रोए अब्बास तेरा हक है ज़माना तुझे रोए अब्बास तेरा हक है ज़माना तुझे रोए जब शाम व सहर तुझे रोए जब शाम हो सहर फातिमा ज़हरा तुझे रोए आकाश तेरा वक्त है ज़माना तुझे रोए आकाश तेरा वक्त है ज़माना तुझे रोए लिए पहरे पे सितमगार खड़ा है लिए पहरे पे सितमगार खड़ा है कैसे तेरे लाशे पे सकीना तुझे रोए कैसे तेरे लाशे पे सकीना तुझे रोए आकाश तेरा वक्त है ज़माना तुझे रोए आकाश तेरा वक्त है ज़माना तुझे रोए जिस वक्त उठाया ना गया लाशा जवां का जिस वक्त उठाया ना गया लाशा जवां का उस करी अकबर से सियादा तुझे रोए शह उस करी अकबर से सियादा तुझे रोए आकाश तेरा वक्त है ज़माना तुझे रोए आकाश तेरा वक्त है ज़माना तुझे रोए ज़ैनब ने कहा शाम गरीबा में गाजी ज़ैनब ने कहा शाम गरीबा में गाजी बेपर्दा मुझे देख के बाबा तुझे रोए बेपर्दा मुझे देख के बाबा तुझे रोए आकाश तेरा वक्त है ज़माना तुझे रोए आकाश तेरा वक्त है ज़माना रोए सजदे के लिए जब लिया हाथों का सहारा सजदे के लिए जब लिया हाथों का सहारा सजाद मुसल्ले पे हमेशा तुझे रोए सजाद मुसल्ले पे हमेशा तुझे रोए आकाश तेरा वक्त है ज़माना तुझे रोए आकाश तेरा वक्त है ज़माना तुझे रोए मशकीज़ा कहीं जिस्म कहीं हाथ कहीं है मशकीज़ा कहीं जिस्म कहीं हाथ कहीं है जा के कहाँ फातिमा ज़हरा तुझे रोए जा के कहाँ फातिमा ज़हरा तुझे रोए आकाश तेरा वक्त है ज़माना तुझे रोए आकाश तेरा वक्त है ज़माना तुझे रोए अरमान सकीनों का था जितना तुझे रोती अरमान सकीनों का तुझे रोती सजाद तेरी कब्र पे उतना तुझे रोए सजाद तेरी कब्र पे उतना तुझे रोए आकाश तेरा वक्त है ज़माना तुझे रोए आकाश तेरा वक्त है ज़माना तुझे रोए जब शाम सहर फातिमा ज़हरा तुझे रोए जब शाम Hussein.
Job.
Yeah.
देख मेरे गाजी ऊंचा है अलम तेरा
देख मेरे गाजी ऊंचा है अलम तेरा देख मेरे गाजी ऊंचा है अलम तेरा
दिल सीने में जब तक है भूलेगा न गम तेरा दिल सीने में जब तक है भूलेगा न गम तेरा
देख मेरे गाजी ऊंचा है अलम तेरा देख मेरे गाजी ऊंचा है अलम तेरा
जैनब की दुआ बन कर एक वक्त वो आएगा जैनब की दुआ बन कर एक वक्त वो आएगा हर घर में सजा होगा पास अलम तेरा दिल सीने में जब तक है भूलेगा न गम तेरा
देख मेरे गाजी ऊंचा है अलम तेरा देख मेरे गाजी ऊंचा है अलम तेरा
आजादी है जहरा भी जैनब की ज़ियारत को आजादी है जहरा भी जैनब की ज़ियारत को जब 8 मुहर्रम को उठता है अलम तेरा दिल सीने में जब तक है भूलेगा न गम तेरा देख मेरे गाजी
ऊंचा है अलम तेरा देख मेरे गाजी ऊंचा है अलम तेरा
वो कौन से सदमे थे शह टूट गए जिससे वो कौन से सदमे थे शह टूट गए जिससे एक दर्द था ज़ैनब का और दूसरा गम तेरा दिल सीने में जब तक है भूलेगा न गम तेरा मेरे गाजी ऊंचा है अलम तेरा देख मेरे गाजी
ऊंचा है अलम तेरा
पर चमका फरेरा था याद थी ज़ैनब की पर चमका फरेरा था याद थी ज़ैनब की ज़ैनब के कलेजे से कम कैसे हो कम तेरा दिल सीने में जब तक है भूलेगा न गम तेरा गाजी ऊंचा है अलम तेरा
देख मेरे गाजी ऊंचा है अलम तेरा
बाजार में जिंदा में दरबार में हर लम्हा बाजार में जिंदा में दरबार में हर लम्हा ज़ैनब की तो सांसों पे नाम रकम तेरा दिल सीने में जब तक है भूलेगा न गम तेरा
देख मेरे गाजी ऊंचा है अलम तेरा देख मेरे गाजी ऊंचा है अलम तेरा
जब बह गया सब पानी तब सांस तेरी टूटी जब बह गया सब पानी तब सांसें तेरी टूटी सीने के अंदर या मशीने में दम तेरा दिल सीने में जब तक है भूलेगा ना गम तेरा
देख मेरे गाजी ऊंचा है अलम तेरा देख मेरे गाजी ऊंचा है अलम
Say,
उसके बाद एक नमूना और कर सकते हैं नमाज जल्दी से तो अब्बास जाए नमाज इधर अब्बास और जाए नमाज पढ़ी
Yes.